Um, Good stuff, good stuff, and I appreciate you, brothers, for joining us tonight. Like I said, I'm really looking forward to it. As I told y'all, we kind of allow our guests to kind of introduce themselves, kind of talk a little bit about how they got into kind of what they do, and then we kind of create just an open forum so our students can kind of ask some questions about your career, about your path, right? And so I told you sometimes our students, sometimes the questions can go wherever kind of they want to take it. So one of you told me that you needed to go first. I do not remember which one of you that was, though. Any volunteers that want to be the first to kind of introduce yourself and introduce your career?
I'm happy to. But when I get started, I keep going. So if you I'm happy to do that though, brother.
Well, I want to say thank you too for joining us this evening.
Yes, good stuff. And so, scholars, if you have questions that you're thinking about, even as they talk, you can feel free to put them in the chat, and we might even interject some, just like always. But if not, go ahead and take us away, Brother Jonathan.
All right. So good evening, everyone. My name is Jonathan Weston. I was born and raised in Columbia, South Carolina.
Hey, South Carolina.
Yeah.
Oh, I need to put myself on mute. My bad.
We like it though. It's family. We good.
Yeah. I actually only. As a matter of fact, while I speak, I'm going to share. Can you get?
Oh yes, absolutely. Hold on. Let me give you.
Sharing.
Make sure I give you access. Yeah. Hold on one second. And I'll do that for all of y'all, just in case y'all have anything y'all want to share later.
Well, let's see. Let's see how we're gonna do this. I don't know a specific screen here. All right, let's see. All right, here we go. Maybe this is the one. Boom. So I'm gonna show y'all images of Wonderland while I speak. You guys see the screen okay?
Yep, we can see it.
All right. So this is Wonderland. So about 7 years ago, I moved to Atlanta, Georgia from South Carolina. And then I started what was a hunting club. And at that point, I didn't own all the land, but I leased the land. And you can lease land in all kinds of different ways, but I leased land so I could do it for purposes of creating a hunting club. And I did that. And then from there, a lot of people were coming to my hunting clubs and trying to go camping. And I kept finding that that's what kept on happening. And so I got out of the business of hunting, and I said, let me go build a camping ground where people can just come and be outside and be at peace. And so I built what we are calling today Wonderland, which is a 72-acre primitive campground in the middle on Lookout Mountain in North Georgia. And if you guys have ever been up that way, you'd have things like Ruby Falls and Cloudland Canyon. It's right beneath the Tennessee Georgia border. And every year now, I started this project 4 years ago, and now we have thousands of folks that show up every year to do all kinds of things in the forest, mostly anything that comes to mind with nature and healing. They're out there, they're doing all kinds of stuff. Right now, I've been showing you images of this young lady working out. This is one of our campsites. Again, this is actually, you will never see this campsite because I tore it down, because I'm always doing something different. When I have a different idea, I'll scrap every idea and start again. So you'll never see that campsite because I didn't like it anymore, and I started over. But the new is even better. And so what we have is as a concept, I believe that you see here, camping is for everyone. And what I mean by that is that I believe that all of you will find your way and be better off if you find some time outside to spend with yourselves. I built an amphitheater, and all these things I built by hand. So when I say I took last year off from my corporate interest, and I focused on learning how to build stuff in the middle of the woods solo. And that's what you see here. Every board, I remember it bringing it down the mountain pass. So all this here is a is a this is what this is just scenes of it. These are all like just parts of what the Wonderland looks like. This is a 2-ton Yeti that I pulled off there and got it off of a trailer myself, and I brought it down from Tennessee. So all these
Yeah,
things
built, if you would have told me you built the Yeti, I was gonna say, man, we got sculpting classes too.
no, we don't got sculptor classes, but you see, this is what Focus looks like. This is what you can build it. There was nothing there, and I like if you guys saw it before, there was nothing there, and I built everything that you see here. But we have these simple tents. Actually, the tents are all going to be upgraded. The inside, I did keep those floors, but these are these are camping tents, but they sleep about 10 in the middle of the forest. It's a beautiful and rustic thing, and we've got a lot of people out there. They always enjoy it. We've this amphitheater seats 100 people, and again, we built all this by hand, so you'll see everything out there is got it's just we did the best we could and we got it done, and we'll always make it better next time. I'll take any questions. If you guys have any questions, or I'll go for another 2 more minutes talking about the Wonderland business model, if you guys are concerned with that.
Hey, Jonathan, I want to say something real quick. So, I mean, you being a little modest, man. Our students had the opportunity to participate in one of his camping amazing experiences. And when I say we had about 10 of them, along some other young men that went out there this very first time, and have an experience where they had to go collect their own wood, build a fire, put the tents up. And he also, you had crab legs, you had a feast for them, had steak, all kind of food. I mean, when I say amazing, campfire where they were able to have some dialogue and just have some conversation, so, just to see the whole process of, it was a rites of passage. Is that correct? That we're able to experience. So if you just talk just quickly about that, about some of the opportunities. So if kids come out, what are some of the activities? Now you still doing the paintball? You got a couple of, just talk a little bit, a couple of things. If they come, when they come out, what are some of the things they can look forward to?
Well, I invite everyone here to come out, right? And when you do any sort of educational program, whether it be with the Community Teen Coalition or with your parents or whatever, but if we're doing a group setting, we're going to wrap it around the 5 C's of survival. And that is combustion, cutlery, cordage, containers, and covering. And we're, in the forest, all those things have very specific meanings, right? Where covering is your clothes, but also covering in the modern world is what we really talk about is your network, right? Covering really out here, we all have clothes that keep us warm and our body temperature regulated, which is the purpose in the forest, but we also need a network. We need to know each other. We need to be able to do that. And cordage in the forest is the way we tie things that are not together. So if you see this picture, I got some chains there. That's a version of cordage, right? It keeps that sunscreen and keeps it down over that tent. But out here, cordage is our ability to keep our network together. How do we keep and maintain our relationships with people? Cutlery is a knife in the forest, but out here, cutlery is not necessarily a knife, but it's our ability to solve problems, right? Combustion in the forest is, of course, our ability to start a fire. But in the real world out here in Buckhead, my skill of combustion is how can I start an idea and get that idea to grow, right? That's the same. It's the same concept out here. And then lastly, what is the last one? Containers. Containers is what we keep our water in and all the other good stuff. But in the out here, containers is our idea of the future. There's always going to be a tomorrow, and how do we prepare for that tomorrow today? What are we saving from that we are doing today for tomorrow? So these are our rites of passage camps that Dominic was talking about. For the young men, we're calling it the rites of passage camps. And this year we're going to have something, we're working with a group called the Pretty Powerful Group, and that founder is also on the line tonight. But she is organizing what we call the girls' new moon ceremony, which is the female version of a rites of passage camp. It's going to be very great and very tailored to how to prepare young women for the future. And so we really are excited about that too. This is a big and fantastic year for this for the Wonderland organization. Again, I invite all of you to come.
Congratulations on your new grant. I saw you got a USDA $300,000 grant. So congratulations on it too.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Trying to be like you when I grow up.
Oh,
Well, good stuff. Let's let and the ground does look beautiful, so I cannot wait until we get a chance to get out there and do some camping, man. But let's make sure that we let everybody kind of get in and kind of tell the students what they're doing, so that we can kind of get to our questions. So brother Saraki, you want to tell us about what you got going on?
Yes, indeed. Hey everyone. I'm Yami Saraki. My best role is Christina Saraki's cousin.
Not best role. Okay.
But so I guess my journey in agriculture started a while ago in 2016, and kind of from a real estate model. I started investing in land acquisitions. So we started out back then, kind of buying land, harvesting timber, and reforesting, as kind of like an alternative investment model, from traditional stocks and things like that. And then since then, kind of a vertical integration model to where today we harvest our own timber and we're producing it into final products. So that's, lumber. We do pallet sales. We make wooden toys, and we kind of have a new line of wood products coming out. And that's just kind of, a method to kind of cut out the middleman. These are businesses. So the idea is to, to keep the money in our pocket. So since scaling to that, we've went through other land acquisitions, and gotten into other agriculture ventures, here and abroad. We've taken it global. We do own land in Panama, El Salvador, and in West Africa. Most of that is coffee production, where we distribute coffee around the world. We're working on some USDA stuff to be certified to kind of bring our own brand to the US.
Nice.
But that's a model that has been successful so far, and we're excited about. And then we continue to kind of work with kind of, as brother said, about acquiring more land via purchase. One of our latest purchases, we're kind of doing some westward expansion to Wyoming. One of the goals there is to cattle ranch one day. So we bought some land strategically against some BLM land, and that's the Bureau of Land Management. That's land that the federal government owns and leases it out. So we're going to try to lease it out and and raise cattle there. And kind of the idea behind that is just bringing quality food to us here and also abroad. There's a big market for it. Exporting it, there's a lot of other countries that want our goods, as well as selling it locally. I guess kind of why did I pick this path? You can build another building, but you can't build more land. So that's just something that I've always thought about, as far as if you look at, us as a people, land has always been something that, we've been pushed out of. So I think it's something that, rather you do it passively, or if you want to, live on the land, I think it's worth ownership, and also just having a stake in the way in where our food is grown. And, as young people, we lose forest land and farmland every day. So just from an investment standpoint, I think you guys should all, at least look at it in some past, rather it be, running an operation or investing, because we're running out of places to grow fresh food. And if you see, I bet, the brothers on this call, I mean, a lot of us, we didn't know things like organic when we were younger. It was just, so people weren't as concerned about it. But as people become more concerned about where food is sourced and how it's sourced, I think that in the future, for especially you guys, that having land that you can grow and harvest food and bring it to market is going to be very profitable for you guys.
Mhm.
That's kind of me in a nutshell, real quick.
Oh, that's dope, man. That's dope. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Good
All right,
stuff.
brother Nehemiah, you want to tell us the fox in the back, man? It's real. It's real.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Nehemiah. I'm excited to be here. I love nature. I love biology. I love animals. And so what I do, honestly, I have a wildlife removal company. So what we do, we remove wild animals from people's homes and for commercial and residential areas. So I remove things like this fox that I got right here was right by, I got this from downtown Georgia Tech area. And so I was able to catch this along with coyotes and things like that. And we remove them. And then not only do we remove animals that are nuisance, certain animals, we do a lot of re-releasing of animals as well. So we don't always just kill animals. That's not our goal. But certain animals, if they're a rabies vector species, we have to lay them down. And so I think it's very important to still honor the animals. And this was a way of me just seeing it every day, letting my boys see it as well. And so what else I do is I bring the animals that I catch. So I have can I show something real quick?
Absolutely. Yeah, you have access.
All right,
Yes.
perfect. So a lot of times when I'm catching animals, I'll bring them home to my two sons, right? I have two boys named Carver and Arrow, which they're eager to come on camera. So y'all just come wave real quick. All right.
Hey guys.
And that's Arrow right there. Okay.
Hey
All
guys.
right, y'all going back over there. But I'll catch animals and I'll bring them home, everything from beavers to bats to raccoons. We raise squirrels. We do honeybees. I'm going to just show you all something really quickly. And so I got my degree in biology. I love biology and nature. Can you all see my screen?
Not yet.
Nah?
No.
Nope.
Nope, not yet.
All right, let me keep on trying. And I'll talk as I try to get that working. But I got my degree in biology because I love nature, all things nature. And so we employ guys that go out and help with different wildlife removal. We do honeybee removals as well. I mean, we do it all. And I think
You struck something with Jonathan when you said that. Jonathan must have some out at Wonderland.
all right, perfect. You all can see everything now, right?
Yes.
So if you all have an Instagram, you all can actually go follow me and my boys. It's called Raised Wild. My last name is Ray, Raysd, because we raise our boys wild. But as you see, we got them doing beekeeping and stuff like that. I mean, we keep possums and I bring them home and we'll kind of raise them or re-release them or take them to a wildlife conservation area, which what we did with these ones right here. I wanted to show you all one really quick.
My family raised.
Right
Look
here,
at
right?
this. My family
Can you all
raised
hear
and
it as
released
well?
meat blanc.
Or can you all just see it?
We can hear it. We can hear it when you had the
We
sound.
can hear it.
Okay, perfect. So I want to show you all just one really quickly. All right, check this out.
And released 4 squirrels that I removed from a gutter. Now, they're all grown up and living freely in the wild. But this is just when they were little babies.
Acorn and pine cone. Oh, pecan.
So he's the only boy, and he's the son.
And so what we'll do is, we'll,
Huh?
if we catch them young, we
A girl
will
squirrel?
raise them up and not only just raise them, you know, we re-release them back into our yard. And oftentimes they come back to our porch, they'll eat from our hands, you know, and, you know, we try to train, we catch birds and, I mean, all types of fun stuff that we do. As you all see, this was a huge honeybee swarm that I removed from this guy's house. These were thousands and thousands of honeybees living within his home. And he didn't even know it until he started seeing them get into his bathroom. And so we cut it open, removed the honeybee swarm. And then I also take these honeybees and take them to different, I have a farm area where I do some, where I keep a lot of them at, where we have actually right close to where you all are.
Oh my
in
God.
East Point area.
Crazy.
It's crazy. And so
The house. Oh my God.
yeah, I know. It's a lot of them. And I got stung up. I got stung up on this one pretty bad. But it's all good. It's part of it. You know, if it don't kill you, it make you stronger. You know what I mean? I got stung right in my face right there too. That joint kind of hurt. But you know, it's part of it, comes with the territory. And my boys have been stung before as well, and they take it like, you know, champs. You know, that's what you just got to do. But that's a brief synopsis of kind of me.
Over here.
I got questions, comments. I got. If they don't have questions, I certainly have plenty of them.
Yep.
Hey, Nehemiah, just real quick before anybody asks a question, just touch on, so Nehemiah, I mean, you do so many different things, man. I remember when you came out to our summer camp and you did some, a couple of workshops that you did with the students, but also, are you still doing you do a lot of STEM activities with the youth? And also, are you still making products out of like wood? Just touch on just real quick about some of the things you're doing, you know, around that.
Yeah, so we're not actually doing the wood products. Like we used to make these acorn necklaces that we would make and sell those. We still have them and people still want them every now and then, but we kind of, right now we're moving them more into the selling of the honey that we get. It's actually a little more beneficial for people, honestly, and it's you know, it's a sweet gig. But we do
I just met a good wood plug, so just let me you know, we gotta.
I know, right? I heard what you're talking about the things that he makes with the wood. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, we do a lot of STEM activities, nature-based activities. We call it making people aware of the natural environment that's around. And so eating wild edible plants and, you know, things like that are out there.
Okay. Questions.
So listen, I'll just start because I see Dion put in the chat. What does a squirrel actually feel like? I don't know how many times she's tried to catch a squirrel, but she said she's never been able to catch one. So
what does a squirrel feel like? Furry, warm. If it bites you, it feels uncomfortable. It feels like a little puppy. Yeah, that's a good one.
I love squirrels. They're so indecisive, but they look so cute there as babies. And I'm just like, how do they seem like weasels. I don't know, like squirmy.
Yeah, actually that's a good one. They're kind of weasel when they're feeling, you know, and how they feel, they do.
You know, the funny thing about that is I have no reference point for how a weasel feels either. So even you saying that as your example, I'm like, that didn't help me at all. It feels like a weasel. Okay. Okay, cool.
I got a question.
Go ahead, brother John.
I don't want to take up the time if students have any questions, but Nehemiah, I'd love to talk to you, man. I don't know whether this is a problem or something that I need to manage around, but I am starting to see armadillos.
Yeah, we do that.
And the first time I saw it, I thought it was a possum, right? And I said, well, okay, I'm used to seeing possums in the woods, but now I'm seeing these armadillos because I'm also seeing holes everywhere.
Yeah.
And so I think they I think the armadillos have like a cluster that where they live, and they just kind of bury several different holes in there. Are they moving around the state, or have they always been there?
Now, well, that's actually a very, very good question. So they originated out in Texas, you know, and they started surviving and thriving so well that they kept on spreading. And now they are in Georgia now. They've been here for some years, but now they're going more up north into the mountains. And they don't have a whole bunch of predators per se, except for cars. Cars are good predators of them, and coyotes. But besides those, they don't have a lot, and they reproduce a lot. But they can have miles and miles worth of burrows that they'll go into and live in and under. They're the only, I'm sorry, I'm about to nerd out, but like they're the only animals in the in our hemisphere that can give leprosy to human beings, right? So you don't want to really like grab them with your hands. Now it is rare, but they are the only ones that can transfer leprosy. But you can also eat them too. They call them.
and we're like but you know, not at Wonderland, because we don't do any hunting at Wonderland, but we kind of consider coyotes invasive species. And on my hunting ground, because were such a nuisance to turkey and deer populations, I would kind of keep them thin. You know, if I saw them on cameras, I would go and I would be that natural predator for the.
Yeah.
I don't do that as much at Wonderland. So you saying that outside of coyotes, they don't have anybody else that could keep that population under control?
Correct. And you know, we'll connect, because I want to connect with you so we can connect. You know, I'll get your number as well.
Yeah.
We could talk about some things, because Dominic really wants me to meet you as well, and I really want to meet you also.
I need you up there. I got to move a honeybee, underground burrow. I don't want to kill the honeybees, because I need them on the property, but I don't want them in the common areas because they could be triggered by human activity. So I want to move them further into the uncharted parts of the woods. And so we'll talk.
And Brother Nehemiah, it's totally okay for you to nerd out. Somebody else just put in the chat, Olivia just put in the chat, she's a biology nerd.
Yeah.
Olivia had actually two questions, but I want to ask a question as well. So Olivia said, one, what was your favorite section of biology, Nehemiah? She also asked Jonathan, how did you go about getting the land to make camp? And then I just want to ask, I know Nehemiah said his major was biology, but I want to ask Brother Saraki, Brother Weston, what were your majors in college? I know it might not be connected, but I want to ask just so the students can kind of hear it.
That's a good question. So I went to Claflin University in South Carolina, so that's how I know about Brother Jonathan over there. Met my wife in South Carolina. She's beautiful. God is good. My wife is bad. But I did want to say that I did a general biology degree. I was not focused when I was young and exactly knowing what I wanted to do. Like I encourage you all to kind of know what you want to do so that you can specialize in it. But what I would say is I just studied a general biology and minored in chemistry. But now I specialize in wildlife biology right now, and plant biology as well. Horticulture. I do a lot of horticulture stuff.
Good stuff. Okay.
I'll answer my degree question first. I went to Benedict College in Columbia, South Carolina.
Oh, we're actually doing Benedict in a month or so.
All right. I went to Benedict. And I obtained a degree in economics and finance from Benedict. I'm a businessman by nature and trade, and so my world day to day is I build technology companies inside of technology companies, and so that's more complicated than it may want to talk about right now. But it's I just do business units for technology companies. But from there, I was able to do what I really want to do, because what I do is not who I am, it's just what I do. And so, but what I love to do is I'm an outdoorsman. And so I loved getting all the things. And so the camp, I obtained the land similar to what the brother was talking about. You got to find space and places. So he was talking about that, the BLM property. I found some land in the mountains that was in a land conservation, meaning they wanted specific. They wanted to not develop this land. They wanted to. You can't put a shopping mall on this land. You can't go put houses on this land. You can't put certain things on this land. But what you can do is anything else. And so, as your imagination, many people were passing on the land because they were saying, "Oh, you can't do nothing with that land," and they just didn't have the imagination to say, "There's plenty that you could do with that land." And now we have a very strong business that's running on it, and it's supporting thousands of individual people that want to go out and be outside. And then it's also got federal programs being run from it now. And so this is all the way we did it. So it's a land, I acquired land that was found in a land trust, and then I built the campground.
Nice.
Okay.
And Brother Syracuse, what was your major in college and your school?
So my undergrad was in physics. I went to Morehouse, and then I have a master's degree in mechanical engineering.
Yeah.
Hey,
Nice.
And Sarah, can you tell us
pretty much-
about your workshop that you'll be doing during the spring break week?
Oh, yep. So we host it's the HBCU Agribusiness Conference. And it's just so right now we have two schools. We have Morehouse and Alcorn State attending. We're hoping that Tuskegee can find the resource to come as well. So we've got about 40 students coming. That's the first weekend in April. As you said, everyone is invited. And basically the premise around the trip is, you know, there's so many ways to make money in agriculture. Rather you know, want to drive a tractor all day, or if you want to, you know, if you're in business and you just want to kind of do a lot of what I do is like sell commodities. So we have that conference to kind of, you know, kind of broaden people's, you know, because a lot of the folks coming are not actual agriculture students, but hopefully from the end of that, they will be able to see that, hey, it's not just, you know, putting seed in ground. There's a lot of other ways people are making money on agriculture. That there's also you know, hands-on demonstrations. We have a sawmill there, so you know, we'll fell a tree, we'll mill it into lumber, and get to see that process, and you know, they'll build some of those pallets and just kind of, you know, give that exposure. I like to show them that, and like, you know, it's not easy money, but like, hey, like this is a way that, you know, that people are making money. And these are, like I said, agriculture, it's $1 trillion industry around the world in selling food. Everyone is eating every day. So there's no shortage of customers.
Brother Cherokee, I got a question. What schools did you reach out to be a part of this conference?
Which schools were reached out to?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What colleges did you reach out to for the conference?
You know, I was not directly in the oversight of that. I know a lot of schools, a lot of the Alabama schools, and a lot of schools that are within driving distance. So right now, I mean, we fund this out of pocket, so we didn't quite open it up too big. But I feel like there's something behind that. Is there a school that should be invited?
Well, he went to Virginia State, upset that Virginia State wasn't. You didn't mention.
No, it wasn't upset, but you know, A&T but Virginia State is the #3 agriculture school in Virginia. So that's why I was trying to see how far did you reach out as far as that. I just know Virginia State agriculture, we have a whole different land. It's kind of built like UGA Griffin, Stokes. So I was just wondering how far can you reach out to that?
No, hey, before Cherokee, I want to mention, I'm glad Mr. James mentioned, have you, any of you guys connected with UGA Griffin? Are you familiar with UGA and Griffin campus? So they have a huge agriculture department. Our students been there a couple of times. They're in the process of receiving, I don't know how many millions of dollars for this new agriculture project that they're going to be working on there. But I would highly advise, we have the connections there that we can make sure we can share, or even kind of, you know, mention you guys to anyone at the UGA campus in Griffin. But great opportunity, especially in the line of work that you guys are in. I think I mentioned to Nehemiah, our students, what's the company, pest control company, the big one? Is it Orkin? Or
Yeah,
one of the, they do a lot of the training down down there. So our students were able to learn about a lot of the insects, the bugs, the pesticides, all of that stuff. But then the agricultural side, they were able to get a lot of STEM opportunities there. So we'll talk offline, but it'd definitely be a great opportunity to connect you guys with the UGA campus in Athens.
Yeah, they have some people down there that major in grass.
Yeah.
That's the major.
Turf sales. That's a
Yeah.
big one.
$1 billion industry. Yes. Yes. Yeah.
I'm interested in hey, you said it's open for everybody, my brother? Because I'd be interested in coming to that.
It certainly is open. And we'd certainly love to have you.
Yeah,
I have your email.
Yeah, you guys are all on that email that I sent out.
Yeah, I'm gonna reach out. Thank you.
Yeah, that's so students. I know Dion is asking about a Fox story. Students, do we have any other questions? And again, these can be questions about some of the collegiate paths. Olivia just asked, how long have each of you kind of been working in the wilderness field?
I think for me, it was one of those, I got into the field because I was one of them kids that would go out and explore the outdoors, my backyard. I'm from Riverdale, South Side. And so I would be in creeks, I would be in the woods, I'm flipping rocks, I'm catching stuff, bringing stuff in the home. And my mom like, boy, if you don't get that out of the house, you done lost your mind, and I just kept on exploring and finding what my passion was about it. And then it led to this, and George Washington Carver was a huge part of me becoming successful in what I wanted to do as well. So I just, that's how I got into it.
We understand, Brother Ray. It's homework time. That man brought you a whole laptop. I see it. How about you, Jonathan? How long you been doing this?
I have been in the outdoor experience space since 2019 is when I began a business in the outdoors. I was in the outdoors and doing my thing out there personally for since my early 30s. But it wasn't until probably about 2019 that I made it a business.
Nice, that's nice. And Brother Saraki, how long have you been kind of doing what you're doing?
2016.
Okay.
Start.
And then, like you said, and you've kind of gone through some transitions with it from products to other things and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I got into it honestly. I've always liked the outdoors, but never really thought about it as like a career or anything. And I tell you, it was literally a podcast that kind of changed the scope. I was in the market to buy a new car, didn't need a new car. I was just out of college and had a job and wanted to buy a new truck. And there's a guy on a podcast and he said for the price of a new car, you could go out and buy a piece of land. And I said, let me see about this. And I went out and I like to be as honest because I always felt like when I was young, people always talked about them, never really talked about numbers. So the first piece of land I bought was $54,000. And and the truck I bought later was $52,000. So if you think they were very comparable. So basically, instead of buying that truck, I went and I got a land loan and bought that land. And I think the land, when I bought it, the payment was like $380 a month.
Listen,
40, and that's 40 acres. That's 40 acres.
Yeah.
Wow. 3? Oh, okay. I'm gonna be quiet. My bad. That's crazy.
What I love about what you're saying is, and I hope that all the students here are hearing it, all of the different ways and motions that a piece of land can serve you.
Right.
From the food to the grass to the trees to the wood to the honeybees, if you really, really want to put it together, all of it monetizable, all of it you own, all of it just in your control to do something with. And that's why, I'm so happy you bought the land versus the truck. The truck went this way and the land went that way.
And it certainly did. But I mean, you know, you can always buy the truck. You know what I mean? It's kind of like we said, they make more trucks. And I bought the same model truck a couple years later.
Right.
But that piece of land now is, if I sold that land, I'd probably sell it for around 75,000, 80,000, or sell the timber for about 60 and keep the land.
Right.
I got a story around that.
Right.
There's this one of my pieces that people were that I was leasing. I was leasing it for this guy. All he did was own land, and part of his structure was you can lease it all you want, but don't cut down the trees. I showed up there one day. He had cut down all his trees. Oak forest. He had pine forests that were every 10 years he would cut down. Oak forest every 25. But that's how his family made money. And you're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars, million probably for the oak forest. Because it's 100-acre oak forest that he clear cut.
Wow.
Yeah, money, a lot of it.
I know that's hard for a lot of, you know, folks to grasp, but I would say for hardwood like that, you're talking maybe $2,500 to $3,000 an acre.
$3,000 an acre, and you said he had a 100-acre lot. Okay, yeah, that's a little check. Okay, that's a nice check.
I mean, and think about it, he still owns the land, and he's probably has it planted back again.
Right, planting some Christmas
Planters
trees.
were there the next day.
Right.
That's good.
All right. Oh man, students, do y'all have any other questions? Listen, I done learned a lot today. Just man, listen.
I know.
Sean,
Yeah,
man,
absolutely.
Sean, find us some land, man. Come on, man.
There's so many opportunities just within the nature field, honestly, that we aren't exposed to. I know it may sound even wild, but you know, catching animals, man, the animals are repopulating, and since you know people are building homes and stuff like that, these animals have to go somewhere, and a lot of times they're going into people's homes, and you know, it opens up a lot of doors just to be able to catch animals, honestly, just to, which is, for me, it's fun. You know, it's fun. Like I get paid to catch these animals. I get to, you know, got called, you know, Rick Ross has something going on in his house. And, you know, they calling me to go, you know, take care of that and whatever it may be, which is really cool. So nature has so much to offer because it's always producing more. You know, like it never stops growing. It never stops producing. Just like you in your life, you're never supposed to stop growing and never stop producing things. And because that's how we were designed. So I just think it's an opportunity out here. And the fact that y'all are on here wanting to learn about it, so cool to me.
So listen, one of the students just asked, and I wonder if this is going to be really different for all three of you because you come from, you know, you all have different experiences. Haley just asked, what's your favorite snack that you can find outdoors? And she even gave an example of bay boulette mushroom. I don't know if I said that right, boulette mushroom. But what's your favorite kind of snack that you can find outdoors? Is there something that you see it outside and you can take it off the vine and eat it?
Okay. I will give you no recommendations via a Zoom call for your own health, right? So if you come to the rites of passage, or you come to especially the new moon ceremony, I will show you how to forage from the forest. But be careful with just eating things, because we ain't built like that anymore. Okay, so you must learn how to do that. But so don't eat every mushroom you see, because if you don't know it's a specifically edible type of mushroom, you could really hurt yourself. So be careful with just eating things outside. Bring some trail mix until you learn, until you get more advanced. I would not tell people to do that on a Zoom call.
Good stuff.
Hey, I told him you had crab legs out there.
Where Haley?
That was the outside snack.
I'll give you one that I like, that I think is you can look up and really identify pretty. I don't want to get you confused, so don't eat it, and unless you know.
That's the problem.
I'm with it on that 100%.
Yeah, that's the problem.
But I like in the springtime, greenbrier. has new growth on it. It's oftentimes called asparagus of the woods. And so it has thorns, you can pick those off, put them in some butter. Yeah, really, saute them up. So I like greenbrier. I like greenbrier.
I would say
That's
the,
the
the
common name.
honeysuckles are pretty. Those are pretty. I don't think you can get that wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll be surprised.
Well, let me not get in trouble then.
I'm a Georgia boy. I'm Augusta, Georgia for me personally. So we used to, I had an aunt that used to do muscadine wine, and it was
Oh, the muscadines hit.
Muscadines are great.
Yeah.
Was there a person motivated? I was always motivated by one of my. I was motivated to be an entrepreneur by one of my aunt's husband, and he was a big entrepreneur. It kind of motivated me to be an entrepreneur and always have a entrepreneurial venture going on. And then from there, the outdoors were which is the natural next thing that I was doing, because I like to. I don't want to have two jobs. I want to have a thing that I'm doing in a passion project. So because I don't want it to be. I don't want to be just self-employed, meaning I'm doing two jobs. I want to have a thing that it doesn't even feel like work. And so when I go out to Wonderland, it does not feel like work at all. It feels like I have to make sure that I'm focused on what I'm doing, or I'll get distracted and just start relaxing in a hammock or something like that. So that's my story.
That's good. I like that.
And so I see that Jonathan did it. Fellas, one of our participants asked for if you guys could just put in your organization or your business name or your website or anything like that. If you have it, somebody asked for that in the chat. I see Jonathan already kind of put his in. But Brother Syracuse, Brother Ray, if you have a moment, you can just type that in, because I guess some of them are gonna look you up. I know Brother Ray gave y'all his Instagram earlier. I told y'all I watched about 30 minutes of that man's Instagram. I was just scrolling through, looking at all the stuff he was catching. So be careful, because he got some interesting stuff on there. When I was looking at the bees and looking at the squirrels running around, I got lost for a minute in there.
Hey, Mr. Scott, I do want to ask some of our scholars that are on the call, how many of you guys will be interested in going out or just, building our partnership with these three brothers and connecting you guys to some different things, out in nature? You can say it if or you can type it, because we need to see if it's somebody said definitely. Okay.
It's been a while since we did a camping trip.
I love to do things like this.
Jocelyn.
Okay.
Love to do it. Yeah, definitely. Okay.
So Syracuse, I wanted to ask you, somebody said, please, I would. So we got some good comments. Your event that you're hosting, I guess when is it? Spring break time in April? Is that correct?
Yeah, he's doing his event in spring break. Yeah.
Is it a way that we can do something similar for high school students, high school and middle school students?
Certainly.
Okay. We'll talk with you a little bit more, see how we can connect all three of you guys, and we're able to host something to really expose young people to, just wilderness. We have access in schools. I think this is something that the schools need to hear about and learn about, but also from a mental health standpoint. We used to do mental health walks, and we were going to the woods and walk, So it's a lot of positive things. Even when we was with Jonathan, we did a lot of team building out in the campground. So there's a lot of educational things that we can tie in where we can present it to the school systems of a way that they can get involved and, having their students have access. Even going to the campground, now you have busloads of Clayton County, Fulton County, Griffin, Spalding kids going out to a campground because they wouldn't normally have access like that. So I'll talk to each one of you guys offline, our team will, and then we'll try to see what we can put together and make some things happen.
And, Madam Madam just spoke about gardening and raising livestock. At Wonderland, we're building something called the agroforestry experimentation area, where we will be dealing with in forest agricultural motions. So that gardening in a forest. And so that's something that's right up there. The raising livestock is really cool. I don't know if I can manage the having goats out there, but we will, but certainly the garden and having trees and stuff like that will be at Wonderland.
Well, we need some dates, Jonathan. I don't know if you got my text, but I put all you guys, the fellas, in a text a couple of weeks ago, just saying what dates. So I know Terrence was going to reach out, but we need to get some things on the calendar. And then since our ladies are on the call for our program, now, we do a lot of things like this for the young men, but we want to get our young ladies involved. So they will be reaching out to you to see when we can get some on the calendar for them also. So if you got anything in particular, some dates already lined out, we can see what works with our schedule and see how we can make it happen.
But Jonathan, no matter what they say later, they said they want the real experience. No glamping. No glamping. They said they want the real.
No. Glamping.
Don't call it need.
I don't know who said that.
They said they want the real experience.
Who said that?
One of the students, so I know we got about 4 minutes left, but I see one of the students just typed in. I definitely want to touch on this. One of the students just said, I want to connect more with nature and kind of get off of social media and help mental health. What is some of just the feeling that you all get kind of being in that space so regularly? Like, I'm glad that Joshua said that, but I know she's definitely not the only person that probably needs to disconnect a little bit from these phones and from these this technology. So, what do you think is, why do you think that's important? And any of you can kind of answer that.
I'll tell you, that's what kind of inspired much of my journey and the why I needed Wonderland itself. Like, Wonderland is for everybody else, but primarily it was for me, because I needed to find myself some space and a place to think without all the distractions of this level of connection that we have that we probably aren't mentally or biologically built to maintain. Like, I think that we were born in a network where we should be able to know maybe 50 to 100 people, but now many of us know thousands, and people have thousands of connections. Imagine that. And so to be able to kind of disconnect from knowing what everybody's doing wherever they are all over the place, I need to be able to decompress and go out to the forest and breathe under the stars and in the air. And I hope that you guys can come and enjoy that too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think it's I think nature just has so much to teach you. Like, if you really open yourself and open your eyes, there's so many like principles that you can learn as well. And one of the things that how I really started when I got older is I will really just go out and just start looking and observing, from the different patterns in the tree bark to the different leaf stems and the veins within the leaves to the different blades of grass it is so unique, and you can learn so much from it. I mean, I learned attention to detail just by studying, like, whoa, not all bark is the same. And actually, not all pine trees bark is the same as well. Not all oak tree bark is the same, not all acorn. And so I think just that in itself, noticing the small beauties that are in the earth. Anybody can go out and say, oh, look at the mountains, it's so beautiful. But there are so many. Can you find the beauty in an acorn? Can you find a beauty in a leaf? And I think if you can find those beauties, it just releases a lot of stress. It opens up your eyes to things that are around you that everybody passes by, but to you, there's wonder within it. And that wonder and curiosity will overflow into other areas of your life as well. Then you start, I'm gonna be quiet after this, but then you start asking questions in your curiosity on everything, like, well, why is this like this? And then you find out, oh, it's the tannins within it. And then, oh, you can use the tannins to dye the clothes, or you can use avocado seeds to make, you know, clothing dyes. And your brain just, man, life itself is better than social media, bro. Like the beauty that God created out here is better than Instagram or TikTok, you know? And so anyway, I'm gonna be quiet. That's my spill on it.
No, that's good. That's fair. All right. Brother Seriki, you wanted to add anything to that? Just working in nature and if that helps you, how that helps you?
You know, I'd echo, you know, it's just a release, you know. I know, you know, my wife always says when we take family pictures, she always says like you need to smile like this when you're at the hunting camp, or like she's like, I want this smile on the picture. It's just a different, I mean, I'm a different person when I'm it's a different level of relaxation that I don't know. I have not been able to replicate in an urban or suburban environment.
Absolutely. Well, listen, as we wrap up, students, I just put tonight's kind of attendance and evaluation in the chat. Students, please make sure you click on that. And you know, kind of tell us what you thought about tonight. I, for one, you know, I'm very, very appreciative of you brothers. I learned a lot tonight. Got to you know, hear some stuff that that I didn't know, definitely. And just meeting the three of you, you know, I've already kind of met you, Jonathan, but the other two of you, and hearing your paths, right? I think it's very valuable for our students, man. You know, even the fact that, you know, this is the last thing I'm gonna say because we are after 7, right? Each one of you kind of started a path, and the path is ever evolving, right? Sometimes with our students, we have students that feel like they're supposed to know everything, and they're at, you know, 15, 16, 17 years old. So sometimes they get frustrated, they get upset, they get, you know, they're hard on themselves because they feel like they're supposed to have some stuff figured out. So I really do appreciate that each one of you spoke about that, like spoke about, you know, even sometimes even going to college and having a major and having a career, but that career still, what was your language, Jonathan? That's what you do. It's not who you are, right? And so I definitely appreciate you kind of sharing all of that with the students. Students, if you don't have anything else, we'll definitely wrap up. Dominic, did you have anything you wanted to kind of say to close out?
No, this was a great call. I'm excited about the continued partnership, and you know, glad to get all the, you know, brothers on the call, and hope the students really appreciate it. This is good.
So students, I'll stay on for a bit longer. Y'all make sure y'all click that evaluation link so that y'all can kind of do the evaluation. And let us know that you were here so we can make sure we kept the attendance, man. Thank you, brothers, so much. I appreciate y'all.
Thank you. Have a good night.
All right. Thank you.
Have a good one.
All right.
Peace.
Peace.
Yeah, this was good, man. Really good call.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was awesome. That was great.
Did we get the story on the fox?
No.
The box behind them?